Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday, July 1st, the Canada Day edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin. And I'm just going to do a solo podcast today, guys. Gave AJ Shulo, who normally does the podcast when Thursday, the day off. There's no card to break down this weekend, so I'm just going to talk about some news and stuff. There's some fights that have been announced in the last couple of days. Like I said, it is Canada Day, so I'm just going to do a short podcast today. I'll take any sort of questions that are shot in here, but if not, I'll just talk about some fights that are coming up here. So the UFC has announced some pretty good ones in the last couple of days. And, man, today, like a few did drop. I can't say what it is, but I do know my good friend Cole Shelton from BJ Penn is working on a pretty good fight right now. I don't want to say what it is. I can't say what it is. I don't want to say even give a hint, really, but it is a UFC fight. I'll say that. So I'm looking forward to that. But we did have some news broke at bjpenn.com. Pull it up here by my boy Alzudinho at BJ Penn. Here it is. He broke this fight today. So UFC London, we'll talk about that fight in a second. But yeah, so there's a few fights here. But Nathaniel Wood and Jonathan Martinez. Just want to give a special shout out to my guy Al because I love this fight and he broke it. So it's awesome, man. I mean, these guys are both really good prospects still. I mean, they both don't have great UFC records, right? 4-2 for Wood, 4-3 for Martinez, but I think they're both pretty solid, man. Like they're both usually exciting fighters. So I think it's a great fight. Love the matchmaking here, and both guys, looking for a win here, kind of stay in that like top 15 mix. I guess they jump into the top 15. So yeah, I like the fight a lot, and had some people asking me about the September 4th date. Yeah, it looks like that's going to be the card in London, guys. So Darren Till and Derek Brunson, I believe, is the headliner for that card, like proposed headliner, I should say. There's some other European-based fighters in that card, and as you can see, like Nathaniel Wood is a British fighter, so I believe. So yeah, or at least I'm gonna double check what he is. Actually, I think he is, isn't he? I want to say he's British, but let me double check here. Yeah, of course. So I'm right with that. Anyways, yeah, he's solid. And then I like Jonathan Martinez, even though he did get knocked out by Davey Grant. He did drop Davey Grant, and then he got knocked out after that, but. The guy is a pretty powerful puncher, and he's had some good performances, man. He had that, I want to say it was like a jumping knee against Ping-Wan Liu. It was a nice knockout. So he's had some good performances. Both guys are solid. I like the matchmaking here. But here's the fight that I think everyone's talking about today. Alexander Gustafsson is fighting Paul Craig at UFC London. And, like, what a great fight this is. I like the matchmaking a lot. I think this is a great fight for both guys. I think it's a fight that probably answers a lot of questions about both guys. For all of Gustafsson's faults, right? Because he's lost 3 straight fights, okay? He lost to Verdum, he lost to Smith, he lost to Jones in the rematch. He's still a big name in the sport. And he's still a guy that, if you look, and it's been a while since he's won a fight, granted, okay? His last win was in May 2017 against Glover Teixeira. Before that was 2016, but it was against Jan Blachowicz. Those are the 2 guys fighting for the belt in October. And that fight was moved, by the way, October 28th, UFC 267, Blachowicz and Glover. So this guy has wins over the top 2 guys right now in the division. So he's not like a complete slouch, and I know he's obviously on the downside of his career, but I wouldn't completely count Gus out. And this is a fight he could win it. Paul Craig deserves this name, I think. I'm assuming it's going to be the co-main event for that card. Makes sense, right? So I think it's a fight that makes sense for Craig to take at this point of his career. He's in the top 15. I think he's number 12, if I'm not mistaken, and Gus is not in the top 15, but again, he has a win over the number 1 guy in the contender in Glover Teixeira and the champ in Blachowicz. So, yeah, he's outside the top 15 in the rankings, but it just shows that the rankings are kind of flawed because he does have a win over literally the top 2 guys in the division right now. So, I mean, Gustafsson is – I mean, it's hard to say really where he's at in his career. Like, he's saying all the right things. He's moving back to 205. We should mention that. Obviously, he's fighting at 205 in this fight. I like the move back down. I don't think he was a good heavyweight. Obviously, we saw him lose to Verdum. That was a bad loss now, especially seeing Verdum not look very good against Ferreira in PFL. Yeah, that's a bad look on Gus. But I think at 205, he's going to be a little more competitive. Like, the fight with Anthony Smith was a fight that he was doing well in up until kind of late in the fight. And he kind of wore out a little bit and got tired and got submitted. But, the guy still was competitive in that fight. And obviously, I was at the fight with John Jones, the first one in Toronto. The fight was amazing at UFC 165. The fight was amazing. One of the best fights of all time, right? Literally one of the best fights of all time. And Gustafsson, went tooth and nail with Jones. It was 8 years ago, right? Rematch, obviously, we had the question answered of who the best fighter was in the rematch when Jones just smashed it face in, but I still think there could be something left in Gus, and I'm interested in this fight against Paul Craig because as good as Craig is, he's only good when the fight gets down to the floor. And don't get me wrong, he could take Gus down. It's definitely possible. Gus was smashed on the floor by a couple of guys. The last 3 fights are on the ground, right? Last 2 by submission too. So it's hard to trust Gus at this point in his career, but at the same time, I'm still not completely sold on Paul Craig, okay? The fight with Javon Hill didn't play out, guys. Like, don't get me wrong. It was a great performance. He deserved the bonus. He deserves a big-name fight like this. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, we didn't see the fight play out. I'm still not completely sold on this guy. And Gustafsson's a guy that, like, it's not like he's going to give up completely. I know he did against Verdun a little bit, but in general, he's a guy that typically puts up a good fight. And I think with the striking, he should have the striking advantage in this fight, you'd imagine, right? So, we'll see what happens, but I imagine at this point in their careers, Paul Craig probably is going to be favored in this fight, guys. I would imagine, based on that last performance. But again, Gustafsson's a huge name, so if he was the favorite in this fight, it wouldn't completely surprise me. But I like the matchmaking. To me, it's a good fight. It makes a lot of sense. Now, the other fight that was announced, and this one is there's a few other fights that were announced, but this one is quite good. I like this. I mean, actually, I wouldn't even say that. There's, I'll just go to Marcel's page. I'm gonna pull it up here. We'll pull up Marcel's page. A little easier that way. We got so much news. So I'll go to the news after. All right, let's go to some fights here. Marcel has some. Yeah, I like this fight. Jim Miller and Nicholas Mauda. This is a good one. Mauda is a guy that not a lot of people may know yet because I don't think he's made his UFC debut yet, but I believe he's on Contender Series. Anyways, he's really good. And he does have a knockout win over Joe Selecki. It was a really nice knockout. Jim Miller, obviously a veteran, but yeah, I mean, I don't know what to think of Miller at this point in his career. You see where he was born, 83. We're in 2021, so he's getting up there in age, but he probably still has some good fights left. But again, Jim Miller always used as a gatekeeper, guys, as like the guy that you fight to get to see how you do in your first fight in the UFC. It feels like he fights a lot of these guys in their like UFC debuts. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a winnable fight for Jim. Don't get me wrong, but I think Nicholas Mauda is a guy that this fight's in September. I mean, who knows if it even happens by then? But once you watch this guy, he's pretty good, Mauda. And I remember the fight was Selecki, he knocked him out, so it was a good performance. Yeah, this fight got moved, Brady and Lee, so I'm happy about that. August 28th. Okay, so we don't know what card that is. You know, it'd be cool if it'd be nice if I don't know what card that is. I don't think it's a pay-per-view, but it'd be cool if like that was like a 5-round main event almost for like a fight night card. I feel like it should be, rather than just like, not that it's a bad thing to be on a pay-per-view card by any means, but I think it'd be better served as a 5-round fight. I'd love to see Sean Brady in a 5-round fight. Kevin Lee's been in 5-round fights. I think it's a fight that makes sense for 5 rounds. So I'm not sure what else is on that card for the 20th of August. Again, that's a while away, but that'd be cool. For me, that'd be a nice main event. Love this fight. This is a great fight at welterweight. And I just talked about this fight, obviously, Craig and Gustafsson. I love it. It's a good matchup. Good fight, too, Martinez and Wood. This is another fight. Short notice, Darren Stewart stepped in here for Askar Masarov. Yeah, I don't know what Darren. I mean, he looked terrible, right, against Anders. It's hard to say how he's going to look here in this fight. It's in August, so he's still got, like 6 weeks, more than that, like 7, 8 weeks almost to train. So it's basically like a full camp. But yeah, he didn't look good in that last fight, guys. He looked good in the first fight. Well, I mean, he's looked good, a lot of fights in his career, but yeah, he didn't look very good at all. And he looked good in the first round, I should say. The first fight, though, with Anders, he didn't look good in either. So Jacoby's coming off a tough fight with Cutelaba. It was a really good fight. It was a draw. It was a really interesting fight. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's just, it's a short notice fight at light heavyweight. It should be a good fight, though. Don't get me wrong. And Marcus is asking a question about this. Hey, Marcus, I want to answer your question here, man. Never liked Gustafsson fighting heavyweight. It's good to see him return to light heavyweight. I agree completely, Marcus. That's what I was saying, too. Yeah, he's tall, right? But he's like kind of lean. He's like Jones, too. I mean, we'll see how Jones looks at heavyweight. I shouldn't say that, but he's just like, I don't know. Like, he didn't have, obviously, the takedown defense as we saw against Gustafsson, or against Verdun, excuse me. And we'll see if he has against Craig. But again, Craig is not, he's kind of this weird like guy that pulls guard and stuff. It's going to be an interesting fight. But I do like him better at 205. Obviously, his best wins are 205. Marcus, like I was saying, he has wins over Glover and Blachowicz, which are the top 2 guys. Darren Stewart moved down at 185. Dude, I agree completely. Why is he still at 205? You should have taken some time off. got back down. But I think it's a hard weight cut for him. And I guess you just told the UFC, I don't think I could do it. It must be a hard weight cut. I think maybe that. Now I'm thinking like the Anders fight, like maybe he had a really bad weight cut, and that's why he's like, all right, I want these fights at 205 because the Anders fight was at 205. And I'm with you completely, Marcus. I think you have a good point there as well. What else we got here? This fight. So it's funny because Gutierrez tweets, right? He's saying he has a fight. Cole messaged me. He's like, yo, I think Gutierrez might be fighting O'Malley, right? Because it was right about the time O'Malley's looking for someone. And I was like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense, Cole. I agree. And I mentioned to Cole. I told him, I'm like, I think Gutierrez is a guy that would have been good against O'Malley. So all of a sudden he gets booked, but it's not against O'Malley, against Felipe Colares. But that guy's coming off a nice win over Luke Sanders in his last fight. Yeah, so that was a good fight. So I think this is going to be a fun fight. I actually like this matchup. Two guys on the rise. Should be a great fight. This guy, Gutierrez, nasty low kicks, as you guys have seen. So he's nasty. And Colares looked a lot better in his last fight. So I'm definitely impressed by that guy. Babel fan saying hop on. Yeah. I'll send you the link, Marcel. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to send Marcel a link. You can come on for a little bit. Let's see if he gets it. All right. That'd be good to have. Beard Answer says, if Alex was younger, he should have been at 185. Yeah. You think? Maybe, eh? I don't know. Like, he's really tall, though. I mean, he's 6'5", right? It's not like he's super, super skinny. Like, I'm not saying he's like – he's not like he's Jones right now. If you look at Jones at 265 or whatever he weighs now, 255. Guy's he's looking big. Gus, I want to see if he's ever fought another weight class like early in his career. I don't think he has. I'm gonna double check here. First fight, yeah, okay, no. All his fights, I believe, are at 205 in his whole career. So, and then except for the last fight with Verdum, obviously, where he lost. It wasn't the most impressive performance. Marcel's right here. Whoop. Marcel, what's up, man?
Hi, what's up, man? How are you doing?
Yeah, I know it's Canada Day. I just want to do a short one today, so I'm glad you got on. We'll talk about some fights for a little bit anyways. Thanks for coming on, man. That's awesome.
No problem, man.
Yeah, so I was just going through these fights. I want to just get your thoughts, I guess, quickly on this one, Greg and Gustafsson. Dude, I really love this fight, man. I think it's just like perfect matching. Give your thoughts.
Yeah, man, it's kind of like Paul Craig is now in the rankings a little bit higher, right? And Gustafsson isn't, but Gustafsson is a three times title contender. He fought for the title 3 times. We all know what he can do. Went to heavyweight last fight, didn't work out for him. Is back at that heavyweight. So this is a solid test for Paul Craig, to see where he stands. And for Gustafsson is as well, where if he still can hang at light heavyweight, So I think it's a perfect matchup. I think it makes sense for Paul Craig. It makes sense because Gustafsson, if he beats him, is a name, right? Mm-hmm. And for Gustafsson, it's perfect to get back in the rankings and to work his way up again in the light heavyweight division.
Yeah, I agree. So again, I talked about this one already, but I want to give my shout out to my boy Alzolino Marcel. He broke this fight, so I like this one. It should be a banger. Martinez and Wood. I talked about this one already. Let's go to some new ones. Okay, so yeah, this is the next fight I want to talk about. So we got to talk about this, and you're actually perfect. You jumped on right now because I haven't talked about it yet. So, all right, I want to get you guys' thoughts. You guys tell me your thoughts in the chat. Give me your thoughts on what you think of this match. So obviously, we all know that Louis Smolka pulled out with, I think, an injury or something. And it's not going to be easy to find someone. I knew that right away. You even saw me tweet. I was like, oh, man, I don't even know who they could find right now because it's already July 1st, obviously. Or this was a few days ago. It's still, 10 days out, we'll say, or whatever. I mean, it is what it is, Marcel, but I got to be honest, I haven't heard of this guy until now. I think, is that Portugal flag? I believe it is.
Yeah, he has some Portuguese heritage, man.
Yeah, so my fiance is Portuguese. I'm going to tell her when he's Portuguese. She'll probably end up picking him because he's going to be a huge underdog. No, I'm kidding. I think O'Malley, the odds are out. He's like a massive favorite. He's like 10-1, Marcel. Like, listen, I know there wasn't a ton of options, but at the same time, Marcel, we saw a lot of guys go on Twitter and say, like, I want this fight. So tell me what happened, man. You obviously know a lot about this. So what happened behind the scenes here?
So, yeah, they wanted O'Malley versus Ricky Simon, right? And they said they offered only at 145, but I did hear, I can't say from where I heard it, but I heard Ricky said he can make 135. It's possible, And at that moment, Listen, man, I don't want to talk bad about O'Malley because I don't know exactly. It can be either a UFC choice or O'Malley choice, you know. So I don't know, but that fight didn't happen, and they went with Moutinho, you know. So it's either the UFC didn't believe that Ricky could make 135 or something, or they did believe and they didn't think it was a good matchup for O'Malley and they went with Moutinho. It can be so many things, you know. So I was in a discussion with Ariel the other day about it or yesterday. I was like, you know, I don't say you're incorrect, you know. I'm just saying what I got
What did
told,
he
and
say?
that's what he said. Like he never got offered 135 and he couldn't make 135 or whatever. It's kind of a you know. Wait, I give you the link so you can so you can check. So it's like for me, like, yeah, what you want me to say, right? I got this told. I double checked, and I posted it, you know, and he replied under it, like I
You
said
did? I
something
want
like,
to see this. I didn't see this. Let me take a look.
okay,
By
cool,
the way,
I'm
there's
sending.
a comment here about the last fight from Massio. Hey, Massio, what's going on, man? He says Gus and Craig. Is it small or big cage? It's a small cage because it's in London. It's a fight night card at the O2 or whatever. I think they haven't announced the venue or whatever, but it's in London, Marcel. We know that I think at this point,
Yeah,
right?
but I wouldn't be 100% sure with the September 4 card in London because it's London has problems with the Delta version of COVID right
Mm-hmm.
now, and they might
Fair
go on
enough.
lockdown again. So that's why I didn't set UFC London yet, you know. But
Yeah,
it's targeted for London for sure. Yeah,
for sure.
essentially.
Dear Dancer said, I feel they missed a trick getting a book with TJ. I know he's scheduled against Corey would have been massive. Yeah, against O'Malley. I mean, at this point, he's just fighting. Like, I've never heard of this guy. Let's be honest. Like, have you guys? I mean, probably not. A lot of us have, right? So I'll look into him. I mean, I'm looking at his topology, and it's not too impressive, guys. I gotta be honest. But again, I gotta watch the fights. Maybe he's a really good prospect. He's fought, decent competition. But again, Marcel, he's only 9-4 with 4 losses by stoppage. You got knocked out by
I know.
Tony Gravely. This guy Johnny Campbell, I think some Bellator. Yeah, he just beat Henry Corrales, so he's not horrible. But yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, Sean O'Malley's like minus 1,000 right now, guys. Like he's a
Mhm.
massive favorite, and I feel like it's justified, Marcel. I gotta be honest. Like this is about like as close to me being. I'd be very surprised if this guy won.
For for
Would you be surprised, eh?
Yeah, for me, it's just annoying. Listen, man, I have no problem with the UFC signing Moutinho or whatever, you know, and I'm happy for him he got the chance. But when
Okay.
you have Marab, you have Brian Keller, you have Cody Stamen, you have Ricky Simone, and all these other guys asking for that fight, and you go with Chris Moutinho, either O'Malley didn't want those fights, or either the UFC didn't want to make those fights against O'Malley. For that's how I see it, you know.
Yeah.
And with the info I got from not directly from Ricky Simone, by the way, but from Simone's side, um, they wanted that fight, you know. They wanted that fight. He could make 135, and it didn't happen, you know. And you can give your own explanation to whatever it is, you know, because I don't know if O'Malley didn't want it or the UFC didn't want that fight. I have no idea, you know. So it is what it is, you know. But it's weird that O'Malley said in a podcast 2 days ago he's taking a 145 fight as well. He didn't care, he said. So for me, it's like, yeah, what can you say, right?
So here's your tweets with Ariel. You said, although many sources, this is Marcel talking, although many sources saying Simone couldn't make weight, according to my sources, Simone accepted the fight against O'Malley, said he could make weight. Apparently, somehow the fight didn't materialize. The UFC went with Moutinho. And Ariel replied and said he never accepted a 135 fight. He said he could make 145, but O'Malley wanted 135. UFC wanted 135. Marcel says, I clearly got told Simone could make 135, wanted the fight, and got offered the fight, accepted the fight. I don't second guess you or anything. That's what that's what was reported. But it's all I've been told. That's what you said. So, yeah. I don't know what to say, Marcel. I mean, obviously, there's some miscommunication here somewhere. So I don't know
Yeah, for
who's.
sure, man. But
Yeah,
but I'm actually surprised that Ariel replied to me, man, under it. That he went into my comments for it. So it's
I was
like,
just looking at the quote tweets just to see what people were saying. Like, have you seen these? I don't know if you saw it. It's kind of
no, no.
funny. Someone said, "Kind of a dick move." This guy go after you a little bit. I don't know what people were saying here. Ariel's defending. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I don't know really what he could have sent you a DM or something. I don't know why he said that there, but whatever. It's all good.
I don't
All
mind.
good. Yeah, you don't care. Okay, so two other fights here. Yeah, this one's interesting. This is at
Hmm.
265. Yeah, Ode Osborne. I think it's his flyweight debut in UFC, if I'm not mistaken, because I think he got
Yeah,
injured, right? He got pulled out of his last
yeah.
fight, right? Am I mistaken or no?
He got rebooked for 145 against Jerome Rivera.
And Yeah, that's right. That I remember that. And he looked good.
Mhm.
Takes on Manel Cape here, and Cape. I really did think he won that fight, man. I got to be honest with you, Marcel, against what's his name? Matthias
Nicolau.
Nicolau. Yeah. I thought he won that fight. It was close. I thought he won. Yeah, this is a pretty good fight though. What do you think?
It's a good fight, I think. Yeah, I also think he won against Nicolau at the 29-28. Ball was close, but I had it
Yeah.
for Cape. Um, yeah, what can you say about this fight, man? I'm really looking forward to see how Osborne looks at 125 here.
Yep.
I think he looked amazing at 145, which is absolutely not his weight class. 135, he lost to Kelleher, I think, in his debut. Um, yeah, we'll see, man. And Cape hasn't looked bad actually so far. He fought against Pantoja and against Nicolau, but he has difficulties to let it go, to let his hands go for some reason, man. And he had that in the
Yeah.
Pantoja fight, and he actually also had that a little bit in the Nicolau fight. And that
Yep.
was kind of worrying, I think. But now I think Osborne isn't on the level of Pantoja. I don't know about Nicolau, but I don't know, man. I can go either way, in my opinion. I think Osborne isn't to be underestimated, man.
Yep. All right, this one I like this fight, man. These guys are both good. Like I'm almost surprised they match them up, but honestly, it's like probably sink or swim. It's like the winner's gonna get a top 15 guy, Marcel. I think from this fight.
Mhm.
Impa Kasanganay against Carlston Harris. Man, I love the fight though. Like both guys, very good grapplers. Marcel, you like this one too, eh?
Yeah, by the way, both guys look super enthusiastic in their picture here. Right here, what I actually put together. Yeah, I love that fight, man. I'm a big Impa fan. I think he's
Mm,
amazing. And he's still young in his career, man. I think he has been pro for like 2.5 years or something. So that's also crazy. He's in the UFC already. Carlston Harris. We talk about this debut, man, back when he fought
yep.
Christian Aguilera, and we both said, man, he's going to win that fight because
Yep.
you remember that Dana actually said to him in the Dana White looking for a fight, like, yeah, you're actually a little bit too old, but you look good, so we're going to give you a chance. I was like, dude, 16 and 15 and 4 back then, man, and you're gonna worry about somebody who's too old. The guy's 33. If he looks good, who cares? And that's a thing, man. With many signings with UFC, was Dana like, yeah, your record is it's 8-4, and it's not really that good. You have to have a better record. He pretty much says like, pat your record, and we're interested. So,
Yep.
16-4, I think, good record. Guy looks good. I'm really looking forward to this one, man. And also look forward how Impa has improved. I think he looked great against Palatnikov in his last fight. So yeah, this is one I will have on my schedule, man.
Yeah, no, I like this fight. I like this Harris guy, but Imp is very good, so it's an interesting fight.
Hmm.
A couple other ones. Yeah, this is short notice, right? Elise Reed against Jerry Eubanks. She's a champion there, CFFC.
Yeah,
So yeah, so obviously they're bringing a lot of those fighters in. Only 4 fights in her career, but I mean, I think it's definitely a winnable fight. It's not like Sajara Eubanks is an amazing fighter. But
plus
65,
the
43. What are you gonna say?
notable wins are pretty good, man. She won against
No, she
Jasmine
does have some good wins.
Jasudavicius.
Yeah, of course. No, she does. She has some good wins, but I don't trust her. And it look like these wins over these prospects are pretty good. So we'll see. This one, yeah, this is a rebooking. Obviously, these guys both lost fights. Now they get rebooked. So Dechiro and Kizriev. Marcel, what do you think of this one? You like this one?
Um, Man, I feel the Chirico gets kind of how do you say that? Gets kind of blamed for beating Joaquin Buckley, man, and now he has to fight Kizriev. It's not really an how do you say that? It's not really a present, to go against Kizriev. Kizriev is actually very good. It's more like, listen, man. For example, if Buckley would have won that fight, they would never match them up with Kizriev. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And the Chirico gets Kizriev. It's a horrible fight, to be honest, man, to get against Kizriev because I think he's really good. But the Chirico, he does good as well in the UFC. I know he was 4-5, but in his last 2 or 3 fights, he looked pretty well, I think. Um, I remember the Cummings fight. He didn't look good. He basically almost got knocked out at the last second of the round. I remember.
yep,
Um,
yep.
but after that, pretty solid. And that Buckley fight, that was amazing from his side. Kizriev, I've been high on Kizriev for a long time. Was supposed to make his debut, I think, against Dawkins, against
Yeah, it was.
Carl.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, and that didn't happen. But yeah, I think it's a good fight, man. And looking forward to see what's going to happen here.
Yeah. Why didn't that? I'm starting to remember that fight didn't happen. Anyways, okay, so I didn't get a chance. I don't. Did I even talk about this with you? Did I this week?
No.
Okay. So this is actually a good opportunity then. We got Derek Elusis, Hero gone. So literally on I think it was a Monday, I think, or maybe it was Tuesday, but I think it was Monday. But we were doing the podcast, and Cole sent me the thing where I'm doing the podcast. You heard my live reaction. I was just like, what the hell? And I'm still just like I just think it's just like it's a great fight. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, it's a great fight. We all know it's a great fight, but the interim title thing just Marcel, I'm not a fan of the interim belt because Francis just fought in March. It was 3 months ago he fought. Like, come on. I don't know, Marcel. Give your thoughts, man.
Adam, weren't you like, yeah, we know Ngannou against Lewis, and then you look, Gan versus Lewis, huh? Interim.
Yep. I was like, oh no. I was like, I didn't see the tweet. Yeah, I didn't see it properly. What Cole said. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, man. I mean, it's just honestly stupid, man. And we all know why this is. They want to have Lewis on the card in Houston. They want to have him headline, and they probably didn't give Ngannou what he wanted.
Nope.
And now they match him with Gan. But the thing is, if you really wanted to have this matchup, you could have done Gan as a co-main event against Lewis. This didn't have to be for an interim title. It's like. And then you have Nunez against Pena for the main event, which is not the greatest main event ever, to be honest, man. But it's kind of disrespectful to arguably the best women ever in MMA to put her on a co-main event behind an interim title, which shouldn't have even be for an interim title. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just weird. It's just weird all the way. And I like the matchup, man. I think Lewis Ngannou is a great fight.
Yeah.
But it's super stupid, man. With Ngannou sidelined for only. Sidelined. He's just 3 months didn't fought for 3 months, you know. And
he's not even injured or anything. What's it? Like, because he went home to his country to see his family for a few months, like whatever it was. Like,
it's just stupid, man. It's also like, did you saw the tweet from Ngannou where he's like, man, I also enjoyed my interim title shot against Jairzinho. Oh wait, I didn't get it. So it's like. It's like, why do these guys get an interim title shot and I had to wait for like 2.5 years with Miocic against DC?
I know. He fought 20 seconds or something like that. I think it was literally 20 seconds in like a span of a year. And he didn't fight. And he was complaining about it too. Obviously, Dana White doesn't like this guy's manager, Marcel. Like, I think that's pretty fair to say.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's more, it's just a lot of like power. It's a power struggle right now. That's what it is. That's what I would say, you know. It's a power struggle between Dana White and the UFC and the Asians. And the other question I was going to ask you, Marcel, quickly, Ariel Helwani was saying that Hunter Campbell from the UFC pressures like the fighters into accepting fights by threatening to strip them from the title. So it's kind of like, I would say this is kind of like newer information. And obviously Ariel's kind of like not too happy with the UFC, so he's kind of been stirring the pot a little bit lately. But any thoughts on that, Marcel? Any thoughts on stripping, like threatening these guys?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know Hunter Campbell in person or whatever. I saw a picture of him. I mean, he looks kind of a guy that would get picked on school, but I don't know. You know, I don't know in person. So I don't want to say.
They just want power. They want power over these guys that.
Yeah, but that's
bigger and stronger than them, like you said back in high school. That's funny.
Just sucks, man. You know, I mean, you can't do that to Ngannou, in my opinion. And also,
I know.
What a bad look by Dana to go to that manager on Brad Okamoto's Instagram page.
On Instagram too, like argue publicly, like with the guy.
Yeah, man. What? That's so bad, you know.
Bro, imagine I can't even think. You know what I mean? Like someone I don't even know. I can't even think. You know, any other sport like. These major sports, like Jake Paul. Okay, we got to talk about that. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Let me get Marcus's thing here. With Lewis fighting Gone, do you think the chances of Steve Barrow Jones fighting Francis next increasing? I don't see the UFC. What did he say? Having Francis wait until Lewis Gone winner's healthy to fight.
Man, you know, I gotta say, for one thing, I'm happy that Gone will proceed in the rankings with this because he was kind of stuck. You know what I mean? With that win against Volkov, it's like Lewis was going to fight Ngannou. The winner of that was supposed to get Miocic, and then we have still Jones behind it. You know what I mean? So that was kind of weird. And now we have like Lewis against Gane. The winner will fight Ngannou. And what then? What is Miocic doing? It's also weird for me that Miocic was promised the next title shot with the winner of Ngannou against Lewis. I mean, I respect Steve Penny. I know he's the longest reigning, or at least the heavyweight with the most title defenses in the division. But it's like I don't think that last performance granted an immediate rematch with champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Let's go to. There are a few other ones. I think we talked. I think we talked about this one, right? Did we talk about this fight, Marcel? I can't remember, but I do like the fight. I mean, it's an interesting matchup, right?
It's kind of a, I like the matchup, and I think for Paiva it's an amazing matchup. If he wins this one, this is a big win for him. But for Kyler, it's like you're going from Asuncao, who was in the top 10 still of the rankings, to Rolian Paiva, who was in the flyweight division, actually. So it's kind of a weird thing to do, but yeah, he wants to fight, and I like the fight. I think stylistically it's a fun matchup, so I don't mind.
That's good, Marcel. Okay, so I think that's kind of it for the fight announcements. There was a few pieces of news I do want to touch on before we get out here. It's just a short podcast today. Today's the holiday.
I gotta tell you something off the record. Remember me after the podcast.
Okay, sure, no problem. Just a few other pieces of news I want to get touch on here. Well, I didn't get your thoughts on the Joe Schilling thing, Marcel. I mean, this guy. I'm sure you guys have seen this video. I mean, that's not the video, but yeah, I think we saw it. I can't remember if it was Monday or Tuesday. We were watching it here on the podcast. Yeah. What do you think, man? I mean, he's saying it's self-defense. We'll just watch. I think we can watch it here again, right? Let's just watch it. You can see that, right, Marcel? You guys
yeah. I've seen it 10 times already, so.
You've seen it. Yeah, you've seen it too many times. Yeah, you guys have seen it anyways. But yeah, the guy's going to sue him, man. So what's the lesson learned here, Marcel? Like not to strike people?
Well, what's the lesson learned? Yeah, A, don't strike people, and B, definitely don't record it. I don't know why somebody was recording it. Somebody said to me, like, yeah, when the guy does weird in the bar, you probably better put your camera on. Well, it's like, yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I don't get in those situations, yeah, I don't think it looked good. I don't think it's something to brag about. But hey, who am I? I don't know the complete story, so I hate to say anything about it. But what I looked at this from the video, I don't think it looks good for Schilling, to be honest.
No, I agree. See, I do. Okay, so I want to talk about this. This kind of ties in with some of the other stuff we talked about here. So yeah, I mean, Jake Paul, he donated $5,000 to Sarah Alper, and then $25,000 came from, I want to say it was Triller, I believe, Triller Fight Club. So yeah, I mean, like I know Drake Riggs was the one who wrote the article on PJ Penn, and she even thanked him in the her first Instagram post. Yeah, Jake. I mean, I think Jake did a good thing. And you see what he says. He says, shaking my head, imagine a rookie in the NBA having to start a GoFundMe to play and let Sarah Alper know she has my support and contribution. It's my honor and privilege to help fighters any way I can. Marcel, I think I was talking a little bit about this with, I think it was Cole, just about the fact she had GoFundMe. But, man, it's such a bad look for the UFC. But it's awesome for Jake Paul. I mean, it's good publicity for him. So give me your thoughts on everything, man.
Yeah, man. I immediately tweeted like, I respect that. Whatever you think about Jake Paul, and people are like, yeah, 5,000. What's 5,000 for him? And it's just for the publicity. Listen, guys, he didn't have to do that. He absolutely didn't have to do that, and he has enough publicity. He doesn't need this extra publicity. So I just respect what he did. Triller. I think Thriller did it a little bit to piss the UFC off, but hey, man, whatever helps Sarah Alpart to get her 30,000 that she needed. So good for her, and I hope she can have a good camp with the money she gets. So yeah, I'm actually happy for her. Yeah, what can I say more? I think the UFC, it's not a good look for the UFC at all.
So. No, it's not, and I don't know if Dana White's gonna. Maybe they'll ask him a question about it, like at the press conference next week. I mean, who knows? Maybe Jake Paul will show up at that press conference. You know what I mean? Who knows? Here's what he said. Pablo, why he posted, just be more famous, how proud he is. Someone who is even racist at being posting that everyone idol. Come on.
I was talking about Schilling.
Schilling, okay, about Schilling, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just think it was weird how the camera was like right on it, right? Like it just doesn't make sense to me. It's a little bizarre. It's not like, you know what I mean, Marcel? It's just a little little weird.
Yeah,
And Pavlo was asking
listen.
about Contender Series. I honestly don't know too much about it. I haven't even looked at it yet. Marcel, do you know anything about it, or?
No, I haven't looked into it, to be really honest, man. It's like it's I think it's August 31st. Nolan just posted that as the first show, so yeah.
Fair enough. Just a few other pieces of news, I guess. I don't know if you saw this Conor McGregor thing. Like, I saw that it looks like there's something in his arm or something. You see this, Marcel?
No, I try to keep away from everything Conor not fighting related. So
they're saying it could be staph or something. It doesn't look too good, but I'm sure he'll be okay. I think
I mean, there's always some drama, a few days before the fight. So
of course, it's always, you're right. It's for headlines. I mean, quite frankly, that's what it's for. Just trying to see what else there is. Ronda Rousey. Yeah, it's not like I care about that stuff, but the people do. We didn't talk about this fight, I don't think. Tatiana Suarez and Modafferi. I don't know if you had that on your list.
No, I haven't posted it yet.
Okay, well, I mean, listen, I like the fight, but when I tweeted the article out, they're not happy with it. They think it's a really easy fight. But here's the thing, guys. Like, she hasn't fought in almost over 2 years, right? Over 2 years, and she's moving up a weight class, and she's still fighting a top 10 opponent in Modafferi. So I think it's a good fight, man. I think it makes sense. You like it?
I think it's pretty obvious what the UFC tries to do here, and I can't agree with those people. It's like Modafferi. Modafferi sometimes surprises. She defeated Shevchenko when nobody believed in her. She defeated an undefeated Andrea Lee back then. She defeated Macy Barber, who was undefeated back then. But Tatiana Suarez is better than all these three girls. I know she hasn't fought for a long time, but you don't lose your techniques when you haven't fought for a long time. Maybe some ring rust through, but I see her winning this fight, to be honest, man. And I know you don't like me to give my pick, but I give you my pick here. Suarez is going to win the fight.
Yeah, I was going to say, she's still pretty young, I think. She's still like 29, I want to say. Let me take a look here.
Yeah,
30. She's 30. She's going to turn 31 the end of the year. So still young, very marketable, good fighter. I always liked her. I always thought she was good. So I think, this Paige Van Zandt thing. I mean, she's talking about how great it is. Same with Cyborg. They're both happy they left. Yes, there's more opportunities outside the UFC, but again, it's just different. And good for them though. If they're happy, then I'm happy for them. What are you gonna say?
Random people sending me links from Paige Van Zandt, man, dude. I know why she makes so much money.
Oh, really? Is it nudes on her OnlyFans or?
A lot, yeah.
It's nudes, really?
Yeah, no top, those kind of things,
Yeah, and Pavlo, I saw your comments, man. I hear you, bud. Cool. Daniel, Modafferi's strong woman, couldn't get Vivi down, so won't be able to get down Suarez. Yeah, I know what you're saying. She did lose her last fight, I think, to Viviana Araujo, right? So yeah, but Viviana's good too, man. Anyways, well, this
I think Viviani won against Chukagian, man. To be honest,
I thought so too. I did think so, but Chukagian's hot that won them. Just a few more things, Marcel. I want to get out of here because it's a holiday and I want to go see my fiance.
For
and
sure,
Dustin said these guys were going back and forth about who's going to shoot the first takedown. Do you think someone shoots or no one shoots? Give me your thoughts. You guys tell me too.
No one shoots. No one shoots. No, nobody shoots. I think maybe if they got tagged, but I was laughing about a quote ESPN posted about what Poirier said, and Poirier said this is an important fight because we got to see if I can show that last time wasn't a fluke, and Conor can show if he's still relevant in the division. I wanted it at 170, but the UFC and Conor both wanted at 155. So for me, it's clear that the winner of this fight is likely becoming the next contender to fight for the belt against Oliveira. I was like, dude, we could have done without this quote, That's exactly what everybody's thinking.
And Pavlo's saying Conor should go boxing if he doesn't want to do takedowns. Yeah, I mean, it's posturing. Obviously, Conor would prefer the fight stay standing. If the fight goes to the ground, we all know Dustin's going to have the advantage. The only time I remember Conor even really doing well was against Max Holloway, that one fight where he injured his knee, I want to say, and he just wrestled Max. It's 8 years ago. But obviously, Dustin has a better submission game. He's probably got the better ground and pound everything, I would imagine. Conor, man, I got to be honest, Marcel, just quickly before you talk.
Yeah.
I've been thinking the last, few months since they announced the fight. I'm like, okay, I'm thinking Dustin, he won the last fight. He probably should win this. It wasn't that long ago. But the more I'm getting to the fight, I got to be honest, the more I'm thinking Conor could pull this off. And you see a lot of guys now. I think you had Charles Oliveira come out. He said he thinks that Conor's going to win. And so did GSP now. So, there's some really good fighters that are coming out here and backing Conor in this fight. Anyways, go ahead. What were you going to say?
What's Conor's best win in the UFC? Let's see if we have the same.
That's still in the UFC right now or of all time?
Whatever you want.
What was his best win? I would say probably Eddie Alvarez fight, I would say, right?
I would go for the Max Holloway one, to be honest.
Okay.
Really early in his career, and that's maybe a weird pick, but he really looked good in this first 2 rounds against Holloway. So I always remember that one. And back then, it wasn't that big, because Holloway wasn't that big of a star yet. And he became, after that fight, he went on a crazy streak. So and he became that big star. So I think that was a pretty big win for him. And that wasn't a title win, I know, but for my feelings, that was probably his best win in the UFC. But yeah, we will see, man. I think it's a weird fight to pick. The last time I went with Conor against Poirier because I thought they're gonna trade and Conor's gonna tag him somewhere. And actually Conor did in the first round, but Conor ran out of gas, Poirier took over, and he finished the job in the second round. So I don't know what's gonna happen. It's really a pick 'em to me.
Yeah, and in the chat he's saying Aldo. He thinks that's the best win. Yeah, I mean that's obviously a great win. Marcel against Aldo, 13 seconds, and also he already knocked out Poirier too. We should mention the first Poirier fight was a good win too.
You know what the problem is with those two fights, man? The Poirier fight, I think there was some back of the head punches in that one.
Yeah, when he was on the ground.
I don't really. That's why I don't pick that one. And the Aldo one, of course, amazing 30-second knockout. But I would have loved to see that fight go at least 2 rounds, 3 rounds, because I wanted to see how Aldo would have done against Conor and how Conor would have done against Aldo. And we never got to see the rematch, And right now I don't have to see it anymore, but we never got to see the rematch, and that's very unfortunate, I think.
No, fair enough. Just trying to think if there's anything else I want to talk about quickly before we get out of here, because I want to get out of here. No, we talked about that. Yeah, so for next week, I guess we can just set it up. We'll get the comments before we get out of here, guys. Daniel's here. Hey, Daniel. He says Conor winning, but Dustin's logically the pick. Yeah, I mean, I think both guys win. It's literally a pick 'em, I think. It's -110 each, I think, right now.
It is.
So it's really close, yeah. Daniel says Aldo's his best win in quick fashion. This hasn't happened to Aldo since then. Yeah, no, for sure. That was crazy. It was a great punch. It was a really good punch. Daniel Edwards, Holloway window count. No, Holloway's losing to Bermudez. That fight was a robbery. I remember having money on Max that day. That was BS. He should have won that fight. That was a long time ago. Anyways, Marcel. Okay, so for next week, you said you need. There's still more soccer or no next week?
Yeah, there is. On Tuesday, there is.
Okay, so Monday we'll do the show at 4 p.m. and then Tuesday we'll do it at 7 p.m. Okay, and then is that okay with you? That works? Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Okay, and then AJ will do it with me on Thursday at 4. Okay, great. So that's awesome. All right, Marcel, what's going on with you? Otherwise, we'll quickly tell me, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, not much, man. MMADNA.nl, Big Marcel24 on Twitter and Instagram. Do whatever you like. Follow me, or if you don't like me, don't follow me. And check out Adam Martin as well. It's at Adam Martin on Twitter. He's amazing. You guys know that.
You got it, man. You got it. You got the right handle. Everyone, so many people say that wrong, which is so silly. Look at this last comment. What do you think of Netherlands, Marcel? Yeah, and by the way, my fiance, she's Portuguese, right? So she was sad, and then we became Netherlands fans after they were knocked out, and then we got double sad.
I mean, Portugal at least did well. They could have won that fight, that game. Netherlands were bloody awful, man. They deservedly went home after Czech Republic was better, and great for them.
Something happened here. Are you guys there?
Yeah, man, I'm still here, and I see you as well, but you get very blurry.
All right, I'm just gonna end the stream. Yeah, this sucks. Okay, Pavlo's still there. Marcel, are you there? There you are. Okay, I don't know what happened there. I don't know if it was me or you, but anyways.
You got very blurry for me.
Yeah, it's probably me. I got to get out of here anyways, guys. So yeah, follow me on Twitter at Adam Martin, and I'll be back Monday with Marcel. Peace, guys. Have a great day. Peace.